Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Path to Profit podcast. For joining me for the first time, my name is Bobby, and this week we're going to be breaking down Broadcom. We're going to be talking about technicals and the fundamentals, and let you know where I think this stock is right now. So, without further ado, it's time for the chart breakdown. All right, as always, timestamps down in the description if you'd like to jump around. But as I like to start every single one of these videos, let's talk a little bit about what does Broadcom do. Broadcom is an electronic semiconductor fabless company. So what does that mean? Semiconductor, talking about computer chips. Fabless, this means that this company really just deals with the design and the sale of the chips, not necessarily in the manufacturing. So Broadcom would use, let's say, a company like, and I'm not sure if they do use them, but Taiwan Semiconductor, who is a strict manufacturer, to make their chips for them. They're just in the design and the sale of the chips. But Broadcom, they're headquartered in the US. They are a massive semiconductor fabless company, massive. And they deal in many, many industries and many type of components. It's kind of in the name, broad. They're a very, very broad company. There are some of these companies that maybe specify, like a NVIDIA, in really like graphic processing units, or maybe another type of chip that only works in automobiles or whatnot. Broadcom is a broad-based company that deals with many different components. I'd argue that chances are, if you look around you right now, there's probably a Broadcom chip somewhere within the vicinity of you at this very single moment. Could even be in your hand right now if you're watching this on a cell phone. Big competitor, Qualcomm, is one of their big competitors, who ironically they did try to buy out. And fun fact, CA Technologies, which used to be around the corner from me on Long Island, was actually bought out by Broadcom. They were one of the big employers on the island, but Broadcom bought them out. So that's a quick rundown in terms of the company. Let's jump over to MarketSmith and look at the fundamentals. All right, so composite rating 98, meaning it's 98% better than all the other stocks out there in terms of CANSLIM ratings. 94 on the EPS, and you can see it just reported earnings on the 2nd of March and had a pretty good earnings reaction. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But looking at the earnings, you can see 23% last quarter compared to the prior year. And look, that's great. It's nothing crazy. It's not a triple digit earnings reaction, not earnings reaction, but earnings growth. But the one thing you can see is that they consistently have quarter after quarter after quarter growth. Excuse me. Sales, same thing. You can see 16%, nothing really to write home about. But again, just consistent growth on the sales aspect. Where you could really see this is when you look at the annual earnings. You can see, going back to 2016, year after year after year after year after year, they are showing growth, which is a very, very positive sign and shows that they have stability in their growth. And you can see that also with their earnings stability. So number 9. So the number is a 1 through 100 number, 1 being the best, 9 showing that they have tons of stability within earnings. You can see there's a increase in the funds, which is a very, very positive sign to see institutions putting money into this stock. And the big thing here, number 11 out of the 197 industry groups. So electronic semiconductors have definitely been showing strength. They just took a big jump into the top 20, and that's what we want to see. We want to see these stocks that are in leading industry groups, giving it the best probability that it itself is also going to continue to lead in the next market, or in this market. All right, let's look real quick. Checklist. There's my checklist. We kind of already talked about these three, the EPS, the acceleration, and the sales, and failing there, but what we think about that. So I'll skip over that. You can see your ownership increasing there. IBD mutual fund, which is a positive sign. And there, again, you just have the group. Like I said, the semiconductors up 27.23% for the year. Really, really positive. And you can just kind of see where it falls out of the 34 stocks in that group. So let's jump at the weekly chart and take a look. You can see it's not necessarily a specific base, but just this big consolidation. It's a stage 1. It's 61 weeks in length. This is going all the way back to the end of 2021. And you can see 39% depth, so on the deeper side. 98 on the RS rating, and you can see this RS line trending upwards and hitting that blue dot as it breaks out to new highs as we're starting to approach 7% from that weekly consolidation chart pivot. So really, really positive things that we're seeing on the weekly chart, but I always like to dive into the daily chart just to get a little bit more in-depth look at what's going on with this stock. First thing I always look at is the moving averages. You can see the 10, the 21, the 50, and the 200 all sitting in a good spot, all trending upwards, looking good. Specifically, I really like the way this 50-day simple moving average is. Seeing that really, really strong upward trend. Very, very positive to see that. That's what we want to see in a stock that you're looking at. You want to see that strong 50-day trending upwards. Volume. You can see the earnings reaction on the second. Big jump up, ton of volume. But I also like looking that you can see as of recently, the blue days, the up days, you can see the volume much higher than the down days, the red days. So seeing more of the volume coming in on the upside than on the downside, very, very positive sign. And especially as of recently seeing the above average on the upside, very, very positive sign. You can see the earnings reaction. We were kind of pulling back, got down to that 50-day, and then skyrocketed off the earnings, breaking out above the 617 price level, which is very, very good sign. And that actually could have been an opportunity to purchase this stock. You're somebody who likes buying on earnings reactions. To see that jump up, break, hold above that 617.01, really, really positive sign. The question now becomes, for a lot of people who don't own this stock, is should I buy this now? Is it too late? What should I be looking for moving forward? How do I approach this stock? There's many ways with this one. The simplest and the first way is, especially for your traditional CANSLIM trader, you have a big consolidation, your big base, breaking out from this 677.76 pivot, $677 pivot area. It's 7% from it right now to an all-time high, breaking through that pattern, make a buy, your classic pattern breakout. Now, if we want to look at the daily though and see, is there any other areas we can get in? Right now, my biggest concern if we were to buy right here is the chances of pulling back to the 10 and the 21 could definitely happen. That's just sometimes how stocks act. And it doesn't necessarily break the upward momentum that the stock is having and telling that it's time to sell. But you might have to sit with a bigger 5-6% loss at the time, which is something I don't like to do. I like to make sure I'm cutting my losses. I don't like to sit with a loss. So with that being said, I don't know if this is the opportunity to buy right in this area. What you could do is two things. You could wait to break above the 64.31 area just to get above another area of resistance. There is a good chance that there is some resistance at this area, or at least in tightening. If we do break through that, then at that point, I think the only other area is really this. It just gives me a little more that we're not going to jump up and then shoot right back down. We're clearly continuing to trend higher. But again, you also have the opportunity that you could still have a little more volatility in that area. So that might not be for you either. The other opportunity is just to be patient, just to wait. The stock could hit any of these kind of peaks and areas of resistance, tighten up, pull back on light volume, maybe form a handle, giving you other opportunities to get in and really truly assess your risk based on the chart. So personally, if I was making a decision, you had a gun to my head and said, what would you do with this one? I'm waiting. I'm waiting to see that if there's an area of tightness or if there is an area with a pullback where I can really, really, truly draw my line in the sand of where I'm going to put my stop. So definitely think this is one to put on your watch list. It's on my watch list. Definitely think this is a company to watch. It's a group to watch. It is a leader in that group for sure. So for me, it's be patient, keep looking at this, look at it every single day, keep assessing what's going on with this chart, and just make sure, as you do with any of your stock purchases, you have a plan on the upside and the downside. So that's Broadcom for you. Appreciate everybody joining me. Subscribe, turn on notifications, do this and many other videos every single week. If you want to see my market review, the rapid review, top right-hand corner, click that video. If you want to see some other chart breakdowns, bottom right-hand corner, I did 2 other videos this week, Airbnb, Mercado Libre. Click that link. They'll take you to those videos if you want to check those out. But that's all I got for this week. Stay disciplined.